in the day. If you listen, we'll have Wale Shadari join us, and we'll be looking at some of the tariffs that make flying from Nigeria to the West a lot more expensive than some other countries in the same region, sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa, and so on. While we await our guest as he comes, we'll be looking at something. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. The NLC, TUC, they had planned on picketing NARC and DISCOs today, their offices, and I believe that is in progress right now. And it is said that one of the things that NARC didn't do well is the fact that they did not follow due process and didn't conduct a public hearing as required by the Electricity Act 2023. And the hope here is that they'll be able to sit down and engage and discuss with the labor movements and see what can be done to actually turn around this particular tariff hike. And if I quote Femi Falana here, and it says again, the increase was anchored on the assumption that there will be regular electricity supply for at least 20 hours, but that has not been the case. If DISCOs cannot meet the electricity supply, people have no right to pay the increased tariff, or people are not obliged to do that. So, one, they didn't meet the rights or follow the right process by first having like a town hall meeting and all that, and then they moved on to have the increment and no supply. The supply is almost nil. So what do we do? How do we do it? While we still have some time in our hands, we can talk about this now. What do you think? Do you support the NLC TUC's picketing of NARC and DISCOs this morning to make sure that they reverse this tariff hike? What do you think about it? You can share with me and tell me what the supply has been like in your area. I can tell you that in my own area, fear not even let me talk about Bande again, complain, because the supply has been fantastic. It's gone back to the way it used to be when I moved into that area. That area had steady supply, and if the light was even going to trip at all, 5 minutes or less, it's back. And you won't believe it, could you believe it, that it rained. Even during the rain, the light's not awful. We were now afraid. Even me, I can't fear. Is it that I've been raptured, I'm now in heaven? What's it like in your own area? Has it improved over the days? You could share with me. I have like 10 or so minutes to quickly rub minds with you to find out. You can give me situation report in your own area. The number is also a report now, if you can, about supply in your area, what is looking like. You could also call 0817-175-6338. That will be on WhatsApp. Share with me, talk to me in your area, looking at the fact that NLC and TUC are picketing NARC and DISCOs this morning, beginning from today, stating that you have to do a reversal of the figures you've put on the tariff people are paying for electricity supply. For you, Shagun, how has it been in your area? Has it improved, or is it still the same?
We are still battling with the same. I think we're still on band C. Our light in a day, they pass like four hours.
For band C, or now they hardly see light.
We hardly see light, honestly, yeah. So they'll bring it. This is the style they use. During the day, they can flash it like an hour or more than an hour. Then later at night.
That's not flash now. They leave it for an hour.
For 1 hour.
Not be flash now. Flash now be you go and put off the gen as you are coming back inside the light, inside the house. I don't see them again. That one now be flash. This one a whole 1 hour. That's good. And what else?
So and later on at night, maybe around 10:30, 11. That's when they target. They'll bring it again. Once it's 12, after 12, they take it off. They take it again till
that means
morning.
It has improved for some people now. Maybe that your own is an improvement.
That's not improvement, because the bills keep piling. But then,
are you on estimated billing?
I think so.
You don't even know.
I'm not always at home anyway.
So who pays the bill?
I pay.
And you don't know if you're on this. Do you have a meter?
We have a meter. Yeah, we do have a meter.
If you have a meter, it's not estimated billing now.
But maybe overcharging also, because we are not waiting. They charge us, not be waiting with they see you.
How much do you pay approximately in a month?
I stay in a room and apartment actually. So in a month, I still pay up to in a month. Sometimes they bring bills 3K.
What?
Yes. Now Unity Estate for that day. Unity Estate, we use our eyes a lot for that place. But I think they are fighting the landlord association because I overheard that they are doing 1 or 2 meetings.
You people are complaining for 3K. Do you know what? That 3K will not even run for 1 day if you're on band day. 1 day is almost finished.
At least I will know that I'm enjoying it.
Okay, so you wouldn't
then I'll
mind.
Be productive, yes.
You wouldn't mind if you had the supply and you had to pay that much?
Yes, we'll be productive. We'll do a lot. But this time around, I don't even stay at home because I know I won't be productive at home. There will be no light, so everywhere is heat.
Okay, obviously it's like the supply is looking a lot better in the states now, in the country, because before now people would have called and be screaming up and down, no. But right now everywhere is quiet. That means that places like Egbeda, Ladipo, where are all those names? I'm forgetting, right? Mushin, Oshodi, Agege. I see that your power supply is better now. I'm happy for all of us. And you know what? Let's celebrate. We don't have Adekunle Gold. I wanted to play My Life. That song, nice song. You use it to step down to celebrate your life. We're still hoping to have our guests join us shortly. And we're looking at the tariffs, the airport tariffs that the airlines have to make sure they pay, and by the time they pay these tariffs, it trickle down to the end users. And flying from Nigeria at a point was so expensive, people actually went to Benin Republic and Ghana to fly out to the west. Is it still the same? Is it a lot better? What's going on? And why are planes skidding off the runway so much this time? So much. 1 is 1, 2 becomes too much. So what is truly going on? I hope that he will make it in good time and then we'll move on. But right now, we'll try get something from Adekunle Gold, take a commercial breather, and we will continue with our chat. You're listening to VOP 90.3 FM on a quiet Monday morning. All right.
People 90.3.
All right, one of my favorite songs, My Life by Adekunle Gold, and I watched him at the MVCA. He did so cool. He looked very nice performing and so on. You watched the awards, right? Okay, you have to talk to it directly.
Thank you.
You watched the award? Did you?
No,
watch
I didn't. I was very busy.
You can go play back.
I had a lot of things to do. Weekends are usually very busy for me. But I was following it too, honestly, on social media, and I was actually more interested in the fashion.
Abby?
Who wore what and
which fashion? The women fashion. I mean the men.
Of course, now the women fashion. And what am I doing with women fashion? That's what I decided.
I know. Okay, our time traffic has made us lose some time, but I'm sure we'll still do this another time. We'll just start from a little introduction. It's best to hear from you directly how you run this gig. How did you get to become an aviation analyst? Let me not say specialist now, an analyst.
Honestly, I get a bit uncomfortable when they say you're an analyst, and I ask myself, what does an analyst do? What we do is to look at the sector, and it comes with a lot of experience. Having spent 24 years in the aviation industry, that's the only bit I've ever covered all my life. I started with I served with the Guardian, a newspaper just very close to this station. Then from there, I rose to become the head of aviation beat in the Guardian. But after about 15 years, I decided to move on to more responsibility, even when people thought was it not foolish for you to leave a well-established newspaper to go to one that is just coming up. I said no. Let us give it a try and try to build or add our contribution or my contribution to a paper that was just coming up then. And also because of the issues I had with the former Minister of Aviation, we had a running battle of how Stella Udua, on how she was running the aviation industry, and put me on a collision course with the federal government, the ministers and people in government then. It got to a level that my life was being threatened. Even the publisher of Guardian then, the publisher of Guardian, Mrs. Ibru, called me and said, were you not scared for your life? Because that was when we lost Bayou, and that was a period we started losing so many journalists to death, untimely death, assassination. So I now felt, let me just move on and leave the spotlight and go to Telegraph. I got an offer from Telegraph to come and be the aviation editor. I went. It was difficult, but I felt it was an opportunity for me to also contribute to the development of aviation industry, whatever platform that I belong to then. And it has been very, very interesting.
And you have your own publication too?
Yes, I have my own publication because that period I sat down and said, the newspaper business, not that the newspaper business is dying, but that looks to be the reality, in the sense that the online is beginning to take the shine of print journalism, regular newspaper business. So I felt, okay, I can't read today's story the next day, because online is very fast, just like radio is very, very fast. Okay, let me also do this thing in a very small way where I can air my opinion. I have the liberty to express my views. In the regular newspaper, you may not be able to express your views as things are going. So, and it became something very big, something I just experimented with. I said, okay, let's just be like fun. We're writing about aviation, global aviation industry, travels, tourism, and all the rest. And to God be the glory, it became a reference point, or has become a reference point in the aviation industry, with some other sister online publications.
What is it just called again? What is it called?
Aviation Metric.
Aviation Metric.
Yeah.
And you've given me a journey of 24 years in less than 5 minutes. We've traveled with you. Yeah. And all through that 24 years of this journey in aviation, you would have noticed a lot of things, from the days where flying from here to the UK is now the US. That amount is now what we're using to travel from here to Abuja and Port Harcourt, and it's like, what? So expensive now. What is giving birth to all these price hikes?
I don't actually think that the fares are very high, because if you look at the value of the naira then, when it was 100 naira to $1 or less than 100 naira to $1, then bring it to what it is now, you just find out that why the dollar has been been stable, the naira has depreciated by over 60-70% in the last 10-15 years. Yeah, so things are tougher now, but at the same time things looks better compared to when it was 100 to $1, because few people could even travel that period. It was even difficult for them to afford their fares. But look at that number now and put it side by side with what you have now. The traffic has quadrupled in the last 10 years compared to what we had before. Yes, it could be a bit expensive, but if you look at it, the dollar, aviation is highly dollarized. Everything you do in aviation is dollarized. So if your currency depreciates, is going to somehow affect you, but the dollar is stable, and that is why a lot of airlines like to quote their fares in dollars because dollar is very stable. So what we have done is that we are using a lot of naira to chase the dollars, to chase the dollar. So invariably, if you look at it, it looks as if its fares are very expensive, but in reality, they are not actually expensive. But if you also look at the economic situation compared to what it was before, you can actually agree that fares have increased, but it depends on the divide you belong. Looking at all those economic indices, then you begin to look at it, whether it has gone up, whether it is cheap, because even domestically, fares are still less than $100 in some cases. In some cases, they are more than dollars, but fares shouldn't be less than $80, because if you put a lot of things into perspective, you find out that a lot of things have gone up. The charges have gone up. There are more taxes imposed on the airlines. Cost of operations have also gone up. Aviation is very, very expensive.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. You just said that within the 10 years now, the number of people who will now travel, they've quadrupled, if we can use that. And the dollar has its role to play in all of this, and so on and so forth. Was it last year or the year before when during Buhari, when the Japa thing became quite crazy? You noticed that a lot of people were going to Benin and Ghana to fly. The dollar wasn't as bad as this.
Absolutely.
And the airlines complained.
Absolutely.
That is what Nigeria is charging them, charges, taxes, and so on, that cost that.
Absolutely.
That made a lot of people leave here to go fly there. What are these taxes? What are these levies?
Okay, let me even start with this. We, last year and year before, even since 2021, we've had problems with foreign airlines with their funds that were trapped in Nigeria. And it became...
Please, sorry, explain that thing actually. The trapped funds. Break it down, yes.
The trapped fund. What the trapped fund simply means is that the airlines are selling their tickets here, and their monies, they have sold in naira. Their monies are in naira, but they cannot repatriate naira.
So they cannot change to dollar.
Yes. So what they do is they take it to the central bank to give them at a particular exchange rate. There is a marked rate they give to the airlines. So at that period, the country had no forex, no dollars. And we started keeping these monies, and it kept on growing from 50 million, 100 million, 200 million to 700 million. So what they do is that they take this money to central bank to give them at the dollar equivalent. So this money piled up, and we're not able to give them their money. So some of the monies were with their bankers. So some of the money, or the rest were with the CBN, because what they used to do then was you take it to the central bank to bid at a particular exchange rate. So we didn't have enough dollar to give to the airlines. So the money accumulated and became a very big problem for the airlines.
Has that been sorted out now?
It has been sorted out. Nigeria is not owing any airline any longer.
Okay.
So, and at that period, the airlines complained. They even threatened to pull out of Nigeria. One airline did that, pulled out of Nigeria, but later came back. United is a US.
Okay, United Airlines.
Yes,
okay.
US based airline. We have United Nigeria, not the United Nigeria. United. So they pulled out, and it became a problem. So the airlines were scared that keeping this money, by the time they get their monies, depreciation would have set in. They would have lost half or quarter of the value of their monies. So what they now did was to raise the ticket. They didn't raise it, but what they did was to remove the lower inventories. The lower inventories that when you buy, you're going to buy your ticket. If you're buying maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks before your trip, you'll get it cheaper. So as that one inventory closes, they open another one that is slightly higher than the one that they've closed. So it gets higher higher until you get to the lower to the highest inventory. So what they did was to remove the lower inventories and forced everybody to buy at the lower, just 1 or 2 inventories. So they canceled the lower.
So
inventories.
all those so-called starting from buy 1 month before and you get it cheaper, they cancelled all that.
They cancelled all
if
that.
you like buy 1 year in advance, you will still buy the same amount.
So they were very, very careful, and they warned Nigeria that they were going to do that because of their trap funds. So they were scared. So they did that because by the time they raised the value of that ticket, by the time they get their money, they wouldn't make losses on that thing. So their money will still be intact, even with your own naira depreciation. So it was strategy. But when we decided to pay them, and kudos to this government for trying to, settle, because it became an embarrassment. I was at IATA AGM in Istanbul last year, and Nigeria was a butt of joke from all these international airlines. Not only Nigeria, you have Venezuela. How can you be putting Nigeria alongside Venezuela and some other countries that, it was really a big shame to some of us that attended that conference. So we came back and we met with some people that could talk to the government to see how we're going to resolve this problem. So every day Nigeria was in the news for the wrong reasons. So, and the government stepped in through the CBN to clear all the backlog. So the NCA now decided that since we've cleared the backlog, we're no longer owing you. You have to open the lower inventory so that Nigerians can get cheaper fares. Even NANTA at that period decided to say no, mounted pressure on the airline. And because of the competition, so they decided to open those lower inventories and fares became cheaper, and everybody, and because of the competition in the market at that particular time, so airlines felt it was very good for them to liberalize the market to make it cheaper for people to fly. So when
was this before Airpeace came in, or
yes,
the same period?
No, that was before Airpeace came in. Yeah, Airpeace came in when all these things were happening. But when Airpeace now came into the scene, it further made fares to be cheaper. But fares became cheaper, not necessarily because of Airpeace. Airpeace was not in the picture at that particular time. But when Airpeace came in and decided to further lower its fares, which I believe was an introductory thing to do, because you are competing with very strong, formidable European, American airlines. So, but the mistake some of us felt Airpeace did was to announce to the whole public that the foreign airlines were cheating, they were doing that. That was not fair enough. Yes, you could have lowered your prices and allow people to begin to guess that, okay, they were actually cheating Nigerians. But for the airline CEO to come on air to begin to say they are thieves, they are that, Airpeace decided to lower its fares by less than 200,000. So they sat back and said, okay, since you've started the war, let us also join you to start the war. So they went there and further brought the fare down.
Are they still bringing it down?
I think it's okay now.
They should continue now.
In fact, I was so excited that this thing should even continue to 300,000 naira, so that a lot of us can fly. So I was very happy.
In this particular case, we are happy to be the grass. Continue.
Honestly, when people started saying, the foreign airlines were lowering fare, is anti-competition, I said, no, it's not anti-competition. These are the things we're looking for. I was even thinking we could have this in the cement industry, another industry that, you have strong competitors. But the danger there is that, unlike in our own climb here, these competitors, they are supposed to compete against each other. They collude. For example, company A and B, they are selling the same product. Instead of them to compete on the market share on C, they say, let us collude.
Let's offer them
the same. Almost the same, maybe just 1 naira, so that there won't be much different. So, but in a very sane climb, competition is what brings down prices, fares. So I was very happy. So I wasn't happy when Mr. Onyema came on air and saying they want to kill him.
Devilish scheme.
Devilish scheme. And I was telling, what do you expect them to do? Yes, we support you because you are our own, but at the same time, go in there and fight the battle.
Is he fighting now?
The noise has died down now because possibly the reality is beginning to set in.
But you see, something you said also reminded me of what we had said earlier on about the taxes and all that made the fares quite high, and people now started traveling from Benin and so on. But when there's now competition, the prices came down. Where were the taxes? Were they not still there?
No, the taxes are still there.
So,
you know, when that thing happened, no, but it was actually crazy because if you compare the fare from London to from Accra to London and compare it with Lagos, London, you're having almost about 670,000 naira difference. So I wouldn't blame those who decided to go to.
Yes. So what changed between then and now?
No, the fares are down now. So the difference now is even less than, it's almost at par. Or so you have a point there. So what changed? So it's not actually the fare, the charges that forced them. It was actually the fares that forced them, because the charges are still there now, and we lost a lot of money with that experiment, with a lot of people going to Lome, Benin, Accra to fly. We lost some of the revenues that would have accrued to us. We lost so much money, but now we are making money because a lot of people have left that route because it doesn't make sense if the difference is just 70,000 or 100,000.
Well, I'm still confused. I have Wole Shadari with me here in the studio. He's an aviation analyst. He's a journalist who spent so many years in this sector, so he understands and he talks like an Ajabota. I'll try and respect myself and bring down my voice too. But I'm still confused in that they said the reason our flights were more expensive there, the reason was because our taxes, our levies were too high.
Yeah, they are still very high.
And the foreign airlines said it was a bit much, so it made the flights quite expensive. But in Benin and Co, it's not as bad as ours.
Yeah.
What are these taxes? What are these levies? And how come that when major competition and all that started, the fares still came down? These fares and levies are still there. So what are these levies? That are like spirits, like ghosts that we don't understand?
Let me tell you something. The Nigerian market is very, very good, very sweet for airlines, and that is why you see
for exploitation. Say it.
And the yield is very good. Let me tell you. Let me give you an example. You can fly from London to New York for less than $500, which is about 12 hours distance or more. But from Lagos to London is even more expensive than your flight from London to New York. The yield is very good. Let me tell you how they make money. Air travel is about volume. There's no day you don't see airlines filling up their aircraft from Nigeria. The business class is only Nigeria or maybe some other countries, but I've never seen any country, any third world country that has its business class almost filled up, business and first class filled up. It is Nigeria.
We can show.
We can show. We love to travel in class. We have the money, in quotes. So, if you load your aircraft with business class passenger, they are full. You just need like maybe 100 passengers, 50 passenger in economy. You have broken even.
Wow.
Yeah. So that business class thing is what is driving or what is giving the airlines a lot of money. especially these foreign airlines. So if you fill your aircraft with, in fact, some people will be begging some airlines, please, I'm begging you, can you put me on business class? They will be begging you with their money. It's only in Nigeria you see a family of 5 who love to travel love to travel in class, or business class, first class. They can afford it, costing over 40 million or close to that. Even with their house helps, give them good treatment. Is in Nigeria. So when you see that type of market and people are falling over themselves to fly you, I traveled to Addis Ababa just a few weeks ago. The aircraft was filled to the brim, a 777-300 that is bigger than the whole of this building twice, filled up. So Ethiopia already has the market. With the exit of Emirates, so Ethiopia is becoming like a replacement for so many Nigerians. So the yield is good, the taxes are there, but the airlines can maneuver this. What I mean by maneuvering, they can look at the taxes and do their plus and minus and say, okay, even with these taxes, we are smiling to the bank, so it doesn't affect them. So, but for the local airlines, the traffic is shrinking because of the economic situation. Not a lot of people can go to the airport and buy a ticket to go to Abuja, costing more than 100,000 naira. If you're going on a round trip, it costs you more than close to 300,000 naira. And how much is your salary? What is the economic situation? So the same set of people are traveling. And look at Nigeria, where people of over 250 million, but the yearly traffic is less than 20 million. What does this show tell you? It shows you that only less than 10% or 5% take to air travel. But look at a country like a city state like Dubai. Dubai is even building the biggest airport in the world that would take 100 million people per year. It's going to be the biggest airport. They have started it now. And the yearly traffic in Dubai is a country of less than 10 million people. But the yearly traffic in Dubai is close to 70 million. What does it tell you? You can see the enormous money they make from aviation there. And just a country of, look at Singapore, less than 5 million. But the yearly traffic of Singapore is more than 60 million. So what does it tell you? It tells you that we need to boost our tourism. We need to do a lot of things that will make people want to come to Nigeria. People go to Dubai just to see so many artificial things, but we have natural things here. Tourism, go to Ikogo Sea, you go to that people. But have we marketed these things very well? What about security? Have we talked about security? Have we even talked about our infrastructure? So what the airlines do, honestly, they don't have any thing to give to us, but they've seen the market and they are only interested in that market to take some of our people. And we do not have an airline that is strong enough to compete with any of these foreign airlines. Okay,
let's come back now to this other side, because if we start talking about our airline, Vex will start. Vex, all of us will go to FCC's office today to go and fight some people, because that's the biggest scam ever.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at the taxes, because the thing is, they still feel, and a lot of people still feel, that the taxing, if I can use that, going on in the aviation sector is a bit too much.
Yeah, it's a bit too
and
much.
The kind of things people pay for, a bit too much. It's now making local and international flights more expensive than they should be or ought to be. Now let's run through some of them. And do you think they are unnecessary?
There are so many unnecessary taxes in the aviation industry.
Talk to me.
The IATA vice president was in Nigeria last year for a conference in Abuja.
When we say IATA, spell it.
Okay, International Air Transport Association. What IATA does is the airlines body, helps airline to get revenue. If an airline flies from Lagos to London and is buying his fare, is not paying. That airline is not paying. They just send the receipt to IATA. IATA is the clearing house. Do all your business, will clear it, give airlines all their money, what is due to them. You make your payment as at when due. Just IATA is also the clearinghouse for Nigeria airspace. If Nigeria is traveling, if you are traveling from Lagos to maybe France, you overfly so many places. While you are flying, you are paying. You are entering into another country's airspace, you pay. Who does that? Is that IATA. They have the equipment to know when you pass through somebody's airspace, so they just give you the receipt. You need to pay, and you pay to the relevant authorities. So they are airlines body, and we have about 300 global airlines that are members of IATA. So it's a very big organization. Its portfolio is even more than the financial resource of some countries. So it's a very big, monstrous organization, very powerful. So they came to, the vice president Al-Awadi came to Nigeria to represent IATA, and he said 2 airports in Nigeria, the Lagos and Abuja airport, has the highest taxes in the world. You can Google it, it's everywhere. It was a big story. We knew it, but we didn't know how serious it was. And some of these taxes are duplicated. You have taxes for this, taxes for that. There are some taxes that you can't even explain.
Like which one?
Like, if an airline is if a marketer is dispensing fuel into your aircraft, you're going to pay for that.
Fuel dispensation tax.
Then you also have passenger service charge.
What does that mean?
Yes, okay. If you are traveling internationally now, you are meant to pay. You are not seeing it, but it's part of your ticket. You pay $100. In some countries, it's $20, $30, but in Nigeria, it's $100. They increase it from $50 to $100. So those are the things.
That $100 is almost the flight money for somebody in some countries.
Then we also have security tax, $20. I don't know if they have increased it, but it happened during the Abdul Muttalab period. So we tried very well, at least, to know. It was our system that detected how Abdul Muttalab traveled through Accra, traveled through Lagos to Amsterdam before he did what he wanted to do. So, and we were really, really commended for that. Even Amsterdam, Netherlands, didn't have footage of Abdul Muttalab.
But we did.
We did. And that really quickened our category 1 certification by the US. We were wonderful. That is why when people talk ill about Nigeria, I get offended. That yes, we have our issues, but we are also fantastic people if we're given all the tools to do our work. So
that security one is fine.
Yes, I made a mistake. I would have printed some of those charges out. And
okay, I think when we have the next one, we'll have the list. We'll
even the access road toll gate is part of the tax. They charge airlines, they bill them, they pay annually for that.
Why?
Just to pass through the access road. So it's part of the airline's expenses.
No, I don't understand. Is it for taking their pilots and co through it, or what?
Yes, they pay.
All the plane passes through the toll gate.
No, your vehicle will pass the bill you pay for that access this thing for a year, which there are so numerous charges that they pay. Over 40 charges.
Over 40?
Yes, over 40. So you look at it, and how do you expect airlines to be profitable with all this?
And they break all this down and put them inside our tickets.
Yes, if you check your ticket, you'll find out that the actual amount that goes to the airline is about 30% of the total value of the ticket. But you know what the airlines have done? They are also very smart. They will load fuel surcharge. They will load it, put a lot of charges on that fuel to say, okay, it takes about 60% of your entire thing you're paying for, and they will tell you that what goes to them is just 30%. You're paying for your fuel. In fact, you've paid more for the fuel you used to go from Lagos to Abuja. So we have two scammers. The government is scamming the airlines. The airlines too are scamming the government.
So all these monies they are gathering like this, what are they using them for? They say they seize lights for airports.
Exactly. You see the enormous money that go to the aviation industry. We don't ply it back to the aviation industry, and that is what ICAO has said. The International Civil Aviation Organization, that is the global body that regulates aviation, said whatever aviation should not be seen as revenue IGR
internally generated.
Yes, it's just to pushing your cost. But what we have done now is whatever comes to aviation, we see aviation as a sector where we can make
as
a
MPA,
lot of, yes,
as NIMASA,
exactly.
as
So
this.
we take it to the central post. At the neglect of the sector, you're taking something from the sector, but you're not replacing infrastructure. You go to our airports, you want to weep. I'm not saying they are so bad, but compared to the size of Nigeria, how big Nigeria is in aviation in Africa, and what you get is
it's not commensurate to the business.
So you begin to ask yourself, where do we take the monies to? You go to smaller countries, you see the state of infrastructure, you always come back and almost want to weep for this country. Even our premier airport, the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, you go to the toilets, you don't even want to use the toilets. You get to the terminal building, you want to get out of the place because it's very, very hot, humid. And you go to Senegal, see what Senegal has done with the new airport they built. Look at what Ethiopia is doing. Ethiopia is building a new international airport at where they had the accident 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Bishop 2 is going to, I think it's about 30 kilometers away from
Ethiopia is even far. What about Ghana? See
Ghana.
their new word.
So you begin to ask yourself, what have we done? Look at the new terminal we built. It was wrongly built. How can you build a terminal that does not have bridges for wide body aircraft? Are we really thinking in this country? We build before even thinking of what to do. No plan, as
My
if
goodness.
it's a carpenter that just came to the airport and came up with something.
What
and
do you
said,
expect? Let's take a cue from Abia State, where they gave somebody airport contracts, and the person told them that, oh boy, I never built airport before. It's not in my portfolio.
Yeah.
They still awarded the contract to that person. Meanwhile, the money disappeared. That's another story.
It's just euphemism for how we try to siphon monies. It's not only in Abia State. There are so many states that do not need airport. Look at Ebonyi, for instance. Ebonyi built an airport of over 60 billion. Even the same thing with Bayelsa. What is the economic benefit of those airports? The only airport that I feel has economic benefits is the Anambra Airport, because of the volume of trade that happens around that corridor. But the Asaba Airport will not, for some reason, make the Enugu Airport, Anambra Airport, to thrive the way it should thrive. Because if you look at the distance, Asaba to Onitsha is less than 15 minutes.
It's trackable.
It's trackable, understand? It's just the bridge that is just separating them. So most of these governors, what they do is to, airports involves a lot of money. So if they are saying they are building airports, it's an opportunity of them to make
To siphon.
Exactly. So you see them, the proliferation of airports across. At times it became as if they were in competition. every state wants to build an airport. Even when, even the Jigawa airport that was built, if you go there, they only use it for Hajj, maybe once in a year. I don't even think they use it for Hajj because you have Kanu there. Understand?
Your second comment, not like Christ, so this one will fix it, we'll know the date. We're going to look at the airports versus some other things. And your trip to Addis, we'll also talk about that and the fact that maintenance is key. But to wrap this up in 2 minutes or so, we're wrapping this up. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Dana Airlines skidded off the runway the other time. Then there is the EX Jet or something like that. C-Jet happened a couple of days ago.
That was on Saturday.
What's going on?
It's normal.
It's normal.
It's normal.
One, two in less than 2 or so weeks.
It's normal.
Is it social media that is blowing it up or what?
Not really, yes, but social media is also contributing. If you go to so many airports, you will see incidents that are happening even with to bigger airlines like United. Do you know, just a few weeks ago, Delta, if not the biggest airline in the world, had his doors flung out. A very good aircraft.
Me there.
We call them incidents, and pilots are trained to navigate difficult situations. Yes, it is curious because it's happening. What happened on Saturday is happening almost at the same runway. It's either, and when they happen when it's raining. So maybe fans should look at that area very well. Maybe it's usually waterlogged when it rains, so they should look at it very well.
So traction is not as should be.
Exactly. So fans should take a look at that. But incidents like this, the pilots are prepared for it. We even have worse incidents in developed climes compared to what we have. But the thing that what happened to Dana, and what made for the minister to have taken the decision he took by grounding Dana, by ordering NCA to suspend Dana, was a joke carried too far, because the minister, I repeat, does not have the power to order NCA, the regulatory body, to do its job. You are a supervisory ministry. The NCA should take decisions based on what it feels that constitutes threat to the industry, and after that, is now supposed to relay that back to the minister. But for the minister to say, grant this, suspend that, I think it made us a butt of joke in the international community. And I wish that the minister will listen to the NCA, because when you tamper with the functions of the NCA, the regulatory body, you're sending a very wrong signal to the aviation industry in Nigeria, and people are watching you. I know lessons have been learned. I know that the minister is truly committed to improving safety of aviation in Nigeria, and also helping airlines to be profitable, because Nigerian airlines are in dire straits, and with the situation of things, it's not really looking so good for them. And if care is not taken, 1 or 2 airlines might likely stop operation before the end of this year.
Wale Shadari, thank you so much for your time, and I think the next one will open the lines people can contribute to. And coming to May 29, we'll be celebrating year 1. I think we'll also look through the aviation industry, see how it has fared this 1 year. We'll also take a look at the various agencies under how they work, for us to really understand them even better. But so far so good. I know you have flights to catch, so I'm gonna let you go later in the day. Okay, good. But we have to call it quits today, and we'll fix a time. I will let you know when Wale will be back this week, and we'll continue from this point. We've stopped. think of these things we've talked about. And when he comes back, we'll have an interactive session too. Wale Shadari, thank you so much for your time today, and we wish you a very beautiful, beautiful day.
Me.
Thank you so much. This is VOP 90.3 FM. I'm Cordelia Obey. Thanks for being with us. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.